Welcome to another video, and let me just start with that. This is no ad. I've been asked frequently what gear I use when downwinding, parawinging, pump foiling, and let me just walk you through what I use most. But all this Indiana stuff comes in perfect covers, so let's unpack it real quick. Wow, that was quick. All right, let's walk through that whole setup. The mast that I use is the Drive HM 85 centimeter mast. It's a full carbon mast, and it is pretty stiff. In this price range, I don't know any stiffer mast. And I use the 85 for pump foiling, not because it gives me a little more height and time to glide, but it's the start. I like to do the static start usually. So if I have 10 extra centimeters, I could place my foil in the water. Yes, if that doesn't work, I have to use the jump start or the drop start. Yes, I have to do that sometimes too. And then for downwinding, a 75 would be better. You're closer to the wave, to the energy. But if I go back upwind and I have to edge that board to get back upwind, maybe with a big parawing, then I'm glad that I have this extra 10 centimeters. Because if not, if I edge too much, then the foil is just gonna get out of the water. So that's why I use this mast. I really like it. And let's continue. Let's continue with the Frontwing. This is the Barracuda L, and this is it's my favorite foil actually. It's 1050 centimeters of span and surface area, which is super easy for me to remember. It's got an awesome glide. It's got an aspect ratio of a little more than 10.6, so not super high aspect, but pretty high aspect. And as you can see in the middle, it is pretty flat. And then you have these very nice tips that go down. So if you breach your wingtip, the water doesn't get sucked to the middle. And it's a wing that is pretty fast, but also has a very good low end. So if I pump it for dock starting, for example, I don't have to be super precise. If I'm off just by a little bit, I can still pump it, and it's super cool. And Indiana has this system. It's the monoblock system. So the first part of the fuselage is part of the front wing, and then they have two different tails. And the cool thing about these tails is that you actually have 3 holes in the back, so you can adjust the stab again. So you have 2 positions on each tail. So it's actually with 2 tails, you have 4 different positions. So that's really cool. Now, I have both. Why would I use both? If I do parawinging and I'm mostly free riding, then I use the long one because I want that stability. And I usually pair the long one with the bigger stab. This is the Barracuda L. It's pretty slim. It's got an aspect ratio of 10 as well. It's 395 square centimeters. And honestly, it's super fast and stable. Maybe due to the wingtips, I'm not sure. But this one I pair with the long tail, but on the shorter setting. So for even more stability, you can put it to the back. If I dock start, if I pump foil, then I take the XS tail and the small stabilizer. This is the Condor M, 110 square centimeters, not super high aspect, 7.6, but it's also very slim, super stable, and it lets you find that perfect gliding angle super quickly. I use that for dock starting, and I also use it if I go downwinding and I know that I need to pump a lot. So if I usually downwind, sometimes I just cannot connect the waves perfectly and I need to pump to the next wave. So that's when I actually use the short tail and the small stab so that I have an easy pitch axis. So this is all the carbon material. I really love it. Let's put it back in the covers and let's continue with the board. All right, let's talk about that board. And this is the Superfly compact mid-length board from Indiana. Yes, it's compact, but it doesn't fit on the screen as I see. So let's rearrange here a little bit. It's 74 liters, which suits me perfectly because I'm 73 kilos. So it's got a little more liters than I actually weigh. Obviously, if I'm on the water, There are foils attached here. They weigh a little something. My wetsuit weighs a little something. It is quite slim. So you're really close to the water, close to everything. It's not the most narrow board, but it's got that perfect wideness. And I'm standing with a big off stand, so that suits me perfectly. Yes, you would have inserts for straps as well, but I'm no jumper, so for me, it's really not important. You might see the Foilsessions sticker here. I use Foilsessions to track all my sessions on the water. Check the app out, it's really cool, and you have a free trial, so I suggest you do that. Now, what I also use, and people might be arguing about that, I use a waist leash and I use it coiled. Now, with the Parawing, in the first couple of sessions, you might run into some problems because the bridles are everywhere. You run them over with your board and you need to put them away or to get into your leash. And getting it out of a coiled leash, yes, that sucks. But after a couple of sessions with the Parawing, honestly, you're not gonna get tangled anymore. So really, that's not an issue for me. I love that leash and I use it because with the wing, it's easier to body drag than with the Parawing, especially if you maybe fall into the Parawing, then you're happy that you can hold on to something. Something that is also really nice about that board, except for its size obviously, is that there's a very nice concave on the top. They have this crocodile or gator pads, I'm not sure how they call it. And the rails, there is a concave, so you really feel when you're at the edge of your board, and that's super helpful. Now, I'm not even sure what they say, how heavy the board is, but let's just weigh it. And yes, it might be still a little bit wet, not that much anymore though. Let's weigh it. All right, let's weigh it with the board, with the leash. And it is 5.2 kilograms. You want me to show it to you? .2 kilos. So this board is really great. I highly recommend it for parawinging. If you have questions about the leach ridge, about something else, direct message on Instagram @MattOnFoil. And if you need more help getting into that parawing thing, then think about signing up to the Lab Rats Parawing Academy. It's an online course, link is in the description, and see you guys in the next one.